Hello and welcome to another Diplostrats commentary. I'm here once again with Ezio. Finally, actually. It's been a very long time, hasn't it?
It has been a while, but glad to be recording. Beauties of trying to schedule recordings between two full-time workers who live in different time zones.
Yep, that is an absolute nightmare. But we are bringing you something completely new today. This is the Hidden Attack Season 5 final. And if you haven't heard of Hidden Attack, that's for good reason. This is a tournament which scouts out players on Backstabbr based on their stats, and invites them privately to it. So it has a good number of expert players in it, but it's not something that's generally been heard of like outside of this. Recently it's merged in with another tournament and now it's called Hidden Experts. But back when this game was played, it was called Hidden Attack. And this is the grand final. As you can see, the 7 players who qualified were Not the Droids, Title, Adriel, Matai, Grayson, Peacekeepers, Bigelow, and BZ, or BZ in my case. And in terms of the game rules, this was very, very simple, this grand final. The person with the most centers wins. That is just it. Unlimited time, it can go on for as long as any player wants. And yeah, it just ends when people are willing to agree to concede to whoever is in first place at that time. So, before we jump into it, I'm going to quickly deviate and plug my new Blitz tournament. Well, it's not even a Blitz tournament, Blitz Discord server, which is a style of diplomacy play where you get the game over and done with in 2 hours. It's press-based, phases last 5 minutes, and the link to the Discord server will be in the description below. I would love it if you would check it out, because right now we're kind of on the edge of getting 7 players most days, and, you know, getting less than 7 players isn't really where we want to be, so that is why I'm taking a moment to plug it here. But anyway, back to the main event. This is how the Hidden Attack Season 5 final opened. Anything interesting on the board, Ezio?
So the West is very standard. Just normal stuff. The most interesting things that I notice are this bounce in Armenia that looks like it has to be prearranged, but I suppose technically might not be.
Yeah, I think it's been becoming more of a thing recently, in that it's just something people agree to do every so often, bounce in Armenia to let the Ankara fleet out without risk. But I'd still, like, I really don't like that as much as just holding in Sevastopol, to be honest, because, like, you're still giving up Black Sea if you, well, no, okay, I guess the point of it is just that you keep the Turk out of Armenia if the Turk is going into Black Sea, right? That's probably the reasoning behind it. I think I'd always prefer to just bounce in Black Sea on the first turn. But if you trust the Turk, maybe, but not quite enough to let them into Armenia, this could be a decent opening for you, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's an odd combination with Moscow and Tsev. Like, I think that's just there to try to make it seem like this wasn't prearranged, but doesn't particularly sell me on it, and in which case we kind of just had Moscow and Sevastopol hold in 01 as Russia, which is not exactly what I want to be, but whatever. I mean, if it gets Ankara into the Aegean, I guess Russia's pretty happy with it, but whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think the big thing here is that it's in combination with the Galicia DMZ, right? So Russia is kind of being friendly with everyone right now. You do wonder how long that's going to last, because both of the players are going to see that that's happening, surely. And Moscow is just like the ultimate non-committal move. Usually if you get this whole Galicia agreement, you're sending it up to St. Petersburg or something to do something else. But this Russia doesn't want to annoy anyone at all. That's what I'm seeing from this.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so that's the most interesting part.
Yeah, I think there's also, like, it's not much of a problem, but I would never order Rome to Naples down here instead of Rome to Apulia. Because it has the same... Like, it does exactly the same thing. It prepares for the convoy over to Tunis. except that if Austria opens to Tyrolia, or maybe France goes into Piedmont, or Germany goes into Tyrolia, you don't have the capability to just support hold Venice. So
Yeah, this is one of those moves that feels just strictly worse. It's like moving into Finland from St. Petersburg South Coast instead of to Gulf of Bothnia. And it's just worse. Like, go to the other one.
yeah, but then it could just be like a thing of, hey, I'm not actually as good a player as all of you. Everyone take note of that. Don't fear me as much right now, and then I'll come out and attack you later.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, the West, just very standard stuff. Demo tries in the English channel. Everyone's doing normal things. So we have to see how the guessing goes around Belgium and Munich, or if they can work something out.
Yeah, alright, well, let's move ahead to the fall and see whether they do then. And
looks like they worked something out.
Yeah, I mean, it all looks very agreeable here, except for poor old Russia in the north. And perhaps, well, I mean, Bulgaria to Rum must be a fake out, right? Because it would have been accompanied by a move to Black Sea every time if Turkey was actually doing that to irritate Russia or to bounce Russia out. I would say, anyway. Would you agree with that?
I mean, clearly Turkey's not, like, committing against Russia, but I could see times where Turkey wants to keep options open, and getting Khan to Aegean is just kind of where you want to have Khan most of the time, unless you, like, because committing to attacking Russia, moving into the Black Sea, is really committal when you see Italy going for the Lepanto. Like, you're just begging for Russia to tell Austria, hey, fine, you can take Romania, and then Bulgaria, and then you work with the Lepanto, and then we're fine. Like, that's terrifying. So this might be a way to hedge, and if Austria does support you into Romania, then in the builds, you build a fleet, you get into the Black Sea and stuff, and things go worse. But no, I think it's just, hey, I'll tap it, you have to support yourself in there so you can't go to the Black Sea. I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually would have kind of liked as Turkey. I guess it depends on the vibes you're getting from other people in press. Obviously, we don't see the press in these commentaries, but I would have quite liked the attack into Black Sea and Armenia here as Turkey. Maybe a bit offensive right off the bat, but it gets you set up pretty well against Sevastopol.
I mean, it does. It's just, I don't know. When I am Russia and Turkey attacks me in such a fashion, when there seems to be a pretty clear Lepanto going on, I just concede Romania to Austria, and then I say, you're going to take Bulgaria, just keep working with Italy, and then Turkey's going to crumble. And, like, I let that happen, and then I'm still alive. In this case, it sucks because I'm probably going to have to concede St. Petersburg as well, but I just ensure Turkey doesn't get anything, and then Turkey is very sad.
Yeah.
Probably dead.
That's fair enough. That's always the downside of, like, all-out attacking very early on, right? You kind of make yourself their number one enemy.
Yep. And, like, it already looks like there are reasons for other people on the board to attack you right now. Like, if Italy wasn't in the Ionian, then I absolutely agree that I think Turkey would have loved to go offensive against Russia right now, but preferences.
Yeah. Right. So yes, and then there's that hugely offensive move against St. Petersburg. This seems to represent an England-Germany, given that Germany is bouncing Russia out of Sweden as well. But then you have France supporting Germany into Belgium as well, so I don't know if that's some kind of attempted Western triple? But then, if you're having a Western triple, you surely want Mid-Atlantic Ocean in Spain, South Coast, not in Portugal. So it's,
Yeah, and you don't want the army in Burgundy, you want to get that out of there, so you don't want to move it to Marseille or something. But, I mean, look, it's possible. Like, bad Western triples are still very powerful.
That's
like, depends on the negotiations and how things work, but
definitely true. Is there anything else we want to talk about here, or shall we move on ahead?
I want to see the builds before, because I think that'll give us a real hint of what's going on, right? If we see, like, Fleet Kiel and Brest, then we kind of realize, okay, this is just an FG. But, yeah, I want to see the builds.
Gotcha. Okay, well, let's move ahead to builds 1901. Here, we do see Fleet Keel.
And Fleet Rest.
Yeah, and Fleet Brest, and Fleet Marseille. Um, this could spell out very bad news for England, although I don't know why you would bounce Russia out of Sweden if you were going to go against England immediately afterwards.
Why not?
It seems to strengthen England a fair bit.
I don't know about that. I love bouncing Russia out of Sweden. It means that I'm more likely to be the one to get Sweden. If Russia is weak and they can't pressure me, then I can get to Sweden in the fall and then take it myself. But
I guess that's fair. I really dislike bouncing Russia out of Sweden because then their only place to go with the fleet is Baltic, right? Or they keep attacking Sweden. Or they sit it back in St. Petersburg, which I guess is the ideal, but that would be a pretty passive Russia.
Feels bad always. And with the army in St. Pete, it seems unlikely that we see that particular sequence.
Well, yeah, here I assume Bothnia is going to end up supporting hold St. Petersburg just because of the English fleet up here, but England has to retreat now. Army London, what are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I think England was sold on the prospect of a Western Triple, and then said, all right, I know how to do this. I build armies, I convoy them through St. Pete, and I get across the standing line that way, easy. And then saw three fleets get built by Germany and France, and realized, oh crap, they have whatever 5 fleets to my 2. I guess I'm dead now.
Yup. I mean, on the plus side, it means England has an army back there to defend, like Liverpool and such. But
yeah, I expect they're going to have 2, because I got a feeling Norway's going to get convoyed back.
Yes, and then they just turtle up and never do anything, right?
Yep, so they have 2 armies they're going to have 2 armies on the mainland and a fleet, and say, you're going to get some centers eventually, but it's going to be the sloggiest slog.
Well, I guess there's nothing else massively surprising about these builds. I guess the Turkish build kind of shows that Turkey's in with Russia to some extent. Yeah, because they're not building adjacent to Black Sea. They're giving up Black Sea to Russia if Russia really wants it.
And no potential for an army to get into Armenia in the anyways, so seems fine.
Yeah. So let's go ahead to Spring 1902.
Let's do it.
It is a Western Triple. Oh boy.
I mean, is it though?
I mean, that's pretty solid movement away from the. Oh, I guess.
I mean, France didn't really move away.
Yeah, that's fair. France still has the opportunity to just go into North Atlantic, Mid-Atlantic, and then convoy over, right?
Yes.
Germany moved pretty strongly away.
I mean, Germany did with the move into Baltic, but I feel like it's fine for Germany to take Sweden and then go after England.
Yeah, that would make sense. But then you have Prussia and Silesia and all of these units moving out of Holland and Belgium and whatnot. Do you think that's all for show?
No. I think that's fair. I just don't think there's any I don't know. It's possible that it was intended to be a Western Triple, and then France is going to stab England, and then Germany's going to be busy in the war in the East, and that'll be fine. But I don't see there being a world where France decides that they are better off attacking Italy here with a fleet in Tyrrhenian, Army Piedmont, Army Tunis, rather than stabbing England, where England has a fleet in Barents, and yeah, I don't know. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. Of course, the downside for Germany right here playing into the Western Triple is exactly what we're seeing with Austria. If you end up in a Western Triple as Germany, you're going to be the one on the front line, and you're going to be pressured from the front line, so turning around gets quite difficult. It's not so difficult yet, because Germany has the advantage in Prussia and Silesia, and they are picking up Sweden. But could get very difficult if they let that line solidify. And I should say, excellent play from Russia all around. They managed to back out to the point that they can defend Warsaw now. They also guessed correctly on St. Petersburg, not defending it, choosing to protect Finland instead, and bounce Germany out of Sweden at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Excellent play. And so now there's going to be some guesswork involved because if Germany chooses to cut Bothnia, then Russia will have to use Moscow to support St. Pete because Bothnia will be cut. And then if Moscow is supporting St. Pete, then there's only going to be one unit that's available to defend Warsaw. And so Prussia and Silesia will get it. But if Germany does that cut, then if Bothnia was actually tapping Sweden, then Germany won't get into Sweden. So if we assume that Germany will be supporting themselves into Sweden, then Russia can use Bothnia to support St. Pete, and then they can use Moscow to support Ukraine into Warsaw, and Russia loses 0.
Yeah. I think Russia should always support into Warsaw, right? Because Germany is always going to be... Well, actually, they might not always be attacking that. Depends on what the Austrian is doing. But I think...
Well, there's an army in Kiel and an army in Ruhr, which I believe Germany... I was assuming they were going to use to defend Munich.
That will protect it successfully, yeah. Okay, so Germany will always attack Warsaw, so I think you always have to use 2 to defend Warsaw, which means Bothnia kind of has to hold St. Petersburg. But yeah, there is always the guess on Sweden, and you know, as Germany, maybe you go, okay, I don't actually want England to gain anything here, and I have a reasonable excuse to support myself into Sweden, so I'm just going to do that and not bother cutting Bothnia anyway. Yeah, it's fairly likely that Russia can hold everything here with that moveset. Something interesting in the south, I think Italy is going to go down rather quickly here, looking at the board state. The fact that Turkey got supported out to Ionian and Austria went to Tyrolia and Trieste does not
Yeah,
bode
with
well.
the Russian fleet in Romania, Austria's, I assume, feeling pretty safe.
Yes. Austria is feeling pretty safe, so they're free to attack Italy, right?
Yep, we get to see the excellent Eastern Triple versus Western Triple.
Yeah, and that Eastern Triple is RAT, which is it's super interesting. Usually it ends up being AIR trying to whittle out Turkey, right, as fast as possible, so that they don't have someone behind their backline.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's...
But it never works.
Yeah, it's a bit too quick, especially here when you have like England building an army immediately, and Germany crossing into Prussia and Silesia. There was no chance of whittling Turkey out this early on.
Yeah, when the Western Triple actually gets its shit together and moves across the stalemate line in 02, and then it's crazy. Usually I see these Western Triples come together after they fight over the lowlands for a couple of years, and then they decide to, oops, someone's getting big, let's hit them, or whatever. But
yeah,
I think Italy is in for a rough game here.
It does seem quite likely. Shall we go ahead to 4?
Let's do it.
Alright. Well, Italy does actually manage to successfully defend themselves for this turn. Oh, and actually Austria is the one who feels the pain. Oh, that's a brutal move from Turkey right here. Why would Austria...
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, Turkey's guaranteed the draw now, right? Like, there's no way. I mean...
that seems pretty solid. You absolutely called the French attack on England. That was 100% correct here. And it looks like it's done in collaboration with the German, because England went for Sweden, which you wouldn't do unless you had German agreement to support you in, right?
Seems likely, right? Because England was only on 4, Germany was on 6, and so the agreement says, hey, I'll get to 5, and you'll stay on 6. We're still going to be closer to even. You might even be getting Warsaw, unlikely, but hey, let's do this. I could see that being a negotiation point, but then, I mean, yeah, you're England and you're dead now. There's going to be an army in Liverpool, so there you go.
Yeah.
But France was able to do this and attack Italy. Like, France is in Piedmont now, so...
Yeah, that's an interesting decision. I would not attack both at once, especially when you thought that this Turkey Austria thing was happening. I would have thought that propping Italy up would be better there. But
Yes, I would completely agree with that. I want to have just a little bit more buffer because it's going to take me whatever 2 or 3 years to completely finish off England. Um, but maybe with German support it'll go even faster. But I don't know. I agree. I would want to prop up the buffer zone, get a few extra units to stall for a little bit. But like honestly, maybe you can still react from here, right? If you're in Piedmont, you can still like maybe this is even better for the defense of Italy to pop Piedmont. Because now your army's in Piedmont, and so normally there would have been a bounce, but now Italy gets to rebuild in Venice. Because that army goes off the board with the retreat. And so there actually ends up being an army in Venice and Piedmont and Naples, fleet in Apulia, fleets running in the sea. Like it's going to be tough, and presumably Turkey and Austria aren't going to be working together anymore. So like, I don't know.
yeah, you might be happy with this. I'd be tempted even to ask Italy to build a fleet here in Rome. Actually, maybe that's dumb. But like Austria is going to turn around, right? There's no way.
Yeah,
Austria
I'd ask you to build a fleet in Venice.
Fleet Venice with a fleet in Apulia already?
Yep, I'd ask him to do it. Get into the Adriatic Sea.
I mean,
Put 3 on Ionium. Easiest way possible.
that would certainly be an interesting one. I do not.
It'd be an interesting pitch.
Yeah.
But you want to make Austria know that you're not interested in attacking Austria, and so an army Venice might spook him a little bit, but the fleet's going to absolutely make Austria know that he's safe.
I mean, yeah,
I struggle to say these types of pitches with a straight face sometimes.
But yeah.
No, I think, like, as France, that's what I'm pitching it for. So as a commentator, yeah, I think Fleet Venice is absolutely insane.
Yeah. But I'd be tempted to pitch Fleet Rome just because something needs to cover Tunis, right? So you're either convoying Naples back, which feels bad because you're sticking your army back in a useless spot again if it doesn't bounce, or you're covering it with the fleet, which means Turkey could sneak into Tyrrhenian. So Fleet Rome actually makes a lot of sense from that perspective. You can cover Tunis without uncovering Tyrrhenian.
So I want to go one step further. I actually like Army Rome because it gives you potential to cover Venice with support from Piedmont with your army in Rome rather than your fleet in Apulia, which is added benefit for defensive Rome. And then you can just convoy it into Tunis as well.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's slightly more defensive on Venice than it is defensive against Turkey as well.
Yeah, and I think you probably just can't just tell Italy to build something that doesn't defend Venice here, given the situation around.
Given
Venice.
that Austria attacked Venice with strength 2 last turn. Admittedly, that was the same turn Austria got stabbed, but
yeah, I do want to look elsewhere on the board here. I mean, we've covered most, right? Pretty much everything in the north happened exactly as you were talking about with the Germany moving into Sweden. The only difference was England going for Sweden instead of attacking St. Petersburg. But Russia managed to
made no
hold out
difference.
with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the big key change on the board was that stab into Serbia and Greece. That's just incredibly effective. I don't know how you managed to get Serbia to move out to Budapest here. That just seems...
I think the argument was trying to something about you got to get to Galicia, and then you can support Russia up there. Maybe you'll get into Silesia, and then you'll have pressure on Germany, and it's slightly more efficient, but oops.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. That's just... It's so risky to do something like this and leave 2 centres open unguarded. But to be fair, I would not be expecting the convoy into Greece either. Using...
Yeah, and like I think all of us... I mean, I've certainly been... over trustworthy of an alliance of both partners in a triple alliance at some points, and then didn't realize how exposed I'd become for a specific turn, and then oops, there we go.
Yep. Well, shall we look ahead at the winter and how that changes the builds?
Sure.
Yeah. We have only one build in the west. That's the German build off of Sweden, and of course it's a fleet. This is anti-England right here.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that actually.
You thought the army was going down?
Yes, because you don't need more fleets to kill England. Like,
Yeah.
England's cooked already. This, to me, is warning bells if I'm France. Because I feel that this is going to set things up for a war with me once England is dead. That's what I think this fleet is preparing for.
Yeah, actually, I would agree with that. I suppose you won't, as Germany, you won't get an excuse to build fleets later on if you're staying aligned with France, right?
Yep.
So it's almost like when you're working with England as Germany, you always take the ability to take the opportunity to build the fleet in the first year, even just in Berlin, because you won't get an opportunity later. You won't have an excuse. Because then only England will be the person you can attack with it. This is kind of the step further than that, and say you build your third fleet the moment you can when you have that excuse, because you're not going to have that excuse in future. And yeah, it does signify potential later aggression towards France, given that is the only person it can reasonably attack.
Yeah, admittedly, we are talking like once England is already dead, and so who knows exactly what the state of the board is. It's possible that Germany never gets the ability to use this. Just as France, this makes me recognize I need to kill England with overwhelming force and be prepared to push into Belgium, hold Burgundy after. Like, I need to be scared. What this is also telling me is I am pulling Piedmont back into Marseille immediately. So even though I'm still going to be greedy, I'm going to go for the convoy of Gascony to Liverpool. If Germany stabs me literally this turn, okay, I'm going to lose Paris. But maybe I can't even go for the convoy because that's so punishing.
It is
Anyways,
quite a painful one. And
that fleet scares me a lot as France. But
do you
oh well.
think, as Germany, you would go for the stab here into Burgundy?
I would not. I just like England being dead too much when I'm Germany
Yeah.
to be willing to go for a stab on France right here, right now.
I think
But
especially given that you've just tricked England out of Sweden, right? You're not going to have a friendly England if you stab France right now.
yeah, I mean, maybe. Like, the thing is, France also just stabbed England.
Yeah.
And so England would have to make a choice. And, like, yeah, I stopped England from getting Sweden, but, like, I mean, Sweden's not a home center, right? But no, I think again, I would not stab France this turn, which is why as France, like I said, I'm probably going to have to go for the convoy into Liverpool just because it's too powerful to not. But it scares me more than it should.
Well, I think it should scare you. But yeah, this is absolutely fair. Actually, I think as Germany, I would take the opportunity to get Ruhr into Belgium and Kiel into Holland, just because you have the excuse to do that right now with North Sea there. And then maybe stab into Picardy and Burgundy at the same time later on, when you have Munich and Belgium.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for that. Like,
although France will get a build at that point, so maybe
yeah, exactly. It's like getting into Picardy and Burgundy is only powerful because it means you're going to get into Paris.
Yeah.
But like, if you just walk into Paris, you kind of got the job done. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
and that would be very powerful, right? Because you're going to deny France a build in its completely, and like Austria lost Bohemia, Tyrol is probably moving back into the east, so you're probably going to be safe on that front. Like, what if you just bring Silesia back into Munich and you actually just commit to France here? You might be able to take on France and England because England is so overextended into the north. Like, maybe you can just beat them both quickly. Like, I mean, assuming France goes for the convoy Gascony into Liverpool, which, if you want to make that bet, man, that's crazy.
It could be a very good move. Of course, there is the one other consideration of what is Russia doing with Gulf of Bothnia. If they side with England here, you will have some serious problems if you try and attack everyone at once.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that has a problem with Germany, but like, if you make it clear to Russia that like, no, it's tough. It's tough to navigate that diplomatically. Completely agree.
Yeah. So I guess maybe you just give up. If you're getting Paris anyway, you might just give up Sweden to Russia and ask, can you support Sweden into Norway? And I'll just give you Sweden behind me. I don't know whether Russia would accept that, actually. But
Maybe right, because then Russia gets its built, and then you also say, in doing so, I will also back out of Warsaw, right?
yes.
I'll pull all pressure off of it, so you can, I mean, move into Warsaw and then put more pressure on me, but maybe get into Galicia, get some of the sweet, juicy Austria that's dying.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think that's a reasonable pitch. And if you can get Russia to buy on that in a way that you believe as Germany, then maybe you go for this aggressive line. But like I said, my instinct is still just let France kill England, set up so that way you take Norway, and then you get your fleets into Norwegian and North, and then your army in Belgium, and then, hey, look, you go to war with France now. But I just, right, or when I say it like that, that just sounds like such a terrible position. I don't want any part of that war with France.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the one side, we haven't discussed the Turkish builds here, but I think they're fairly what you would expect if Turkey is staying with Russia here and just continuing to push.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have to do power rankings right now, because it is 1902.
Yeah. So the top is pretty easy, right? It's just Turkey, Germany, France.
Yep, I would agree with that, which actually means I don't have to change very much, because that was more or less the order they were in already. I need to move Turkey, but there we go.
Alright. Then Russia.
Yeah, Russia seems to be in a pretty solid position, especially considering how bad their start seemed.
Yeah, but
they're...
They have no enemy in Austria, no enemy in Turkey. The only enemy in the north was England, who's not able to put pressure on St. Pete, and then Warsaw's pretty safe. So, like, I think Russia's doing fine.
Yeah.
Then I think it's Italy.
Yeah.
Pretty clearly. They're not dying. Then between Austria and England, I don't know who's worse.
That's really tough, right? Because usually an Austria in this position would be in a really tough spot. But there's a Russian fleet in Romania, not an enemy army. So nothing coming in from that direction. Probably nothing coming in from Galicia or Bohemia either. And you can maybe make up with Italy now that Turkey is the aggressor and they're in Ionian.
And Serbia, yep.
I think I would rank England lower.
I agree. That's my instincts, because I just see another army in English mainland and no fleets to defend against the gajillion fleets. So bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that then. So, Austria...
I think that was like the easiest power rankings we've ever had.
Indeed. They're very straightforward on this one. I wonder if they'll stay that way. Let's go
to... there was one that was, right, Turkey only had 6 centers, but Germany has 7, but we still picked Turkey over Germany because Turkey. And other than that, it was supply centers, right?
I mean, a 6-center Turkey in 1902 is just insane.
Absolutely terrifying.
Like, it cannot be overstated how beautiful this Turkish move was. They're in Ionian as well. It's not just a 6-center Turkey. It's a 6-center Turkey who also has Ionian Sea.
Alright, wanna see 03?
Yep, 03. Spring 1903.
Wow.
Well,
wait, Turkey walks into Tyrrhenian?
Turkey does walk into Tyrrhenian, and Tyrrhenian was going the wrong way?
Wow.
Is Italy just saying, I'm vassalized now?
Wow. Dude, is Turkey solo in this game in 08?
I mean, it could absolutely happen, right? I just don't really know what to say with this. This is just, like, incredible.
Yeah, I mean, like, Italy is just not defending against Turkey. Okay, I mean, hey, power to Turkey. They get to walk into Tunis, like.
Yeah, it's absolutely free. And actually, Naples is... They could pick... Well, no, Naples isn't guaranteed, never mind, because Italy could cut both Ionian and Tyrrhenian. But yeah, they get a freebie Tunis, and they could just keep pushing past Italy and leave Italy alive, which I wonder... I assume that might be the Italian plan here. It's just like, hey,
yeah, maybe.
Give me Trieste, I'll give you Tunis, and then you can just push up to Spain and Portugal before France can kill England.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a very reasonable pitch. Like, because of the part of that pitch was the whole taking Tunis part of the pitch.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I mean, okay, Turkey's incredibly happy. Like, France did go for the convoy into Liverpool. So good for them. Like, England is apparently not that interested in being mean to Germany, I guess.
Yeah, well, they're going for Sweden, right? That's what this maneuver is, because it's supported by Russia.
You don't think that Norway's going to try to get back to the sea?
I don't think so. I think they're going to Well, actually, no. If they were doing that, why wouldn't they just have Norway support Bothnia to Sweden and move Barents to Norwegian?
That seems better. Yeah, alright, fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Alright,
they're
okay.
getting
So yeah,
3 on
England's trying to
Sweden.
defend. It's just 2 units against 1,000,000 units in Germany, and then 2 units against France. I don't think either side's going to do particularly well.
Yeah, I think this is something when I'm on the defensive, I always think I want to prioritize defending one particular area, and I think that could be either usually you would want to just prioritize your homeland. In a situation like this, when the homeland is kind of gone anyway, I could see an argument for just charging into Scandinavia and trying to survive there. But splitting up your
it's
units
just
into
too
2
early for
groups,
that.
yeah,
Right? Like, you're not going to survive to the end of the game if you stay on 4 centers forever, 4 units forever. Like, you need more stuff. And so I think if we were in like '08, I think it's reasonable because you can survive there for a couple of years at least, but you can't make it like 7 years or 10 years or whatever. Like, this game doesn't have a set end date, so it goes forever. But
yeah. I just really don't like the whole thing of splitting your units up completely, like what's happened
yeah,
here.
yeah, I completely agree. Scandinavia would be, I think, a much better line, or just convoying Norway back to Yorkshire and saying, all right, again, I'm losing Liverpool, but I'm not going to lose Eddie, and you're going to be tied down to holding on to Liverpool until the end of the earth.
Yes, and then you hope that what happens in the south is exactly what's happened here, and France comes under significant threat immediately.
Yeah, and then there's like a chance you can actually get Liverpool back, and then you're going to have lost Norway by then, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, I think we saw terrible defense from England and Italy here.
Yeah, I can see what Italy is doing, right? As long as it is the, hey, give me Trieste, and I'll give you Tunis.
I mean, but they're not even going to be able to get Trieste. Like, it's going to, even if Turkey agrees, it's still going to be Tirol, Budapest supporting Trieste, and then 3, Venice, Adriatic, and Serbia going after Trieste.
Yeah, actually, that is true. So Italy will end up down a unit, and that's actually pretty painful. I don't know what I'd do as Italy here then. This,
right?
It does seem like it's a very unique play, because in my position I would have done something like try and convoy over to Tunis, hunker down and defend as much as possible, and hope someone else goes in and stabs Turkey. But then of course what you're risking is that you just end up being the person holding Turkey back while someone in the west grows. And, they go, hey, thank you for letting me win at the end of the game.
Yeah. I think in that case, actually, when you phrase it that way, I feel like this is Italy's only play. Because trying to hold back Turkey, you're right, you're not going to hold back Turkey, and then you're just going to let France finish off England. But this way, you're forcing France back, and then maybe you can actually get stuff to happen.
Yeah, and of course the thing about powering up a player is that you're saying to everyone else, hey, this player is getting powered up, go attack them. And if Turkey gets attacked by, like, Russia and Austria here, then you're in a happier situation. But the problem is, this is Turkey. If you power up Turkey too much, Turkey is just going to win. There's not actually that much people can do to gang up on them.
Yeah, right, because Austria's already been neutered, and Russia's under a lot of pressure in the north, and doesn't have enough units in the south to actually go after it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, look, when Turkey is on 6 centers in 0-2, Turkey's going to make it into the draw, and there's kind of nothing that you can do to stop it.
Yeah.
And this is why. So, yikes. Want to go to the fall?
Yeah, let's go ahead to the fall of 1903. And Turkey is playing so Turkey and Italy are doing the thing that we were talking about, and they actually do get Trieste, except they lose Venice at the same time.
Yeah, but I mean, Venice is easier to recapture.
That's definitely true, especially with Naples and Rome now.
But it's been lost the way that now Turkey's just gonna take Trieste.
Yes. Turkey is just moving up to knock Italy out of the centres that Italy has gained, so
yeah,
there's a problem there.
Maybe Turkey is going to support Italy into Spain. Maybe that's it.
Okay, I do love what happened in the north here. Like, we have Germany walking for free into North Sea, England committing to, hey, yes, I'm going to take Scandinavia, thank you for supporting me, into Norway, Russia, let's do this together. And Russia just goes, I don't trust you, I'm going to throw a support hold on St. Petersburg, and ruins England's entire life.
Yep.
I mean,
okay, I like Russia. What happened in the south is fun, though, because actually, if France doesn't build in Marseille, then France is guaranteed to lose Spain in the spring.
Oh, yes, they are, because there's nothing in Mid-Atlantic Ocean now. England bounced them out. That's interesting. Yep. I do think England did kind of what they had to do with Wales here, because Liverpool could have gone to Edinburgh and Irish had to go to Liverpool. So English Channel is kind of free to do whatever. Moving to Mid-Atlantic Ocean, it's like the I'm gonna mess you up as much as possible play and try and sneak into Portugal while you defend Brest. But France blocks it, but they still mess up France anyway, which is just kind of amusing. But yeah, this is like really good for Turkey. I think that's the main takeaway from this phase, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so Germany also has a very nice time here, because England has to take one off, and that one is going to be, I assume, Finland, given that Russia is not supporting England right now. But actually, I guess they could just, like, England is dead. There's no way they can come back from this, so they could take off whatever. But Germany has a decent position too, especially with France under pressure. But yeah, I think Turkey is the big winner here.
Yeah, I mean, but because Turkey is such a big winner, I think Germany's position even improves, right? Because France is now going to be feeling more pressure in the south, forcing France to defend more units down there. And so Germany is going to be more free to gain all of these centers from England and then have the units in the north and be far more prepared for the war between the two of them after England is dead. Furthermore, Austria has to pull back to defend Turkey, so Germany is under no pressure from Turkey or Italy, or excuse me, Austria or Italy because of the Turkish threat. And so now it's just Russia, and I imagine Russia is going to be feeling the Turkish pressure any minute now. So, like, I think Germany, all of his potential enemies are going to have to look to the east instead, and he just gets to grow.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense. Germany has a very... And especially since, as you said as well, if France doesn't build in Marseille here, they're going to lose Spain. So they have to build Marseille, so that leaves them even more open to a German push. Germany's looking very happy here. Shall we move ahead to the winter?
Let's do it.
Okay. Winter 1903.
Finland's off, building Marseille, Adriatic off, Fleet Smyrna. Nothing unsurprising.
Fleet Marseille? I'm surprised that's not an army.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think it's totally reasonable. Like, I like building fleets as France.
At this point, you're just inviting Germany into Paris, though, right?
Like, I mean, a little bit, but like, I like building fleets as France. You can't stop me.
Yeah, and I guess you have the potential to knock Lyon out of Lyon, but it's... I'd much prefer to have a bit more flexibility with that unit. I don't think an extra fleet does very much.
Maybe. In general, fleets are more flexible as France. That's like a really solid heuristic. I think in this position is one where an army is more... I would absolutely think about an army more here, is my instinct, but I don't hate a fleet. I think it's fine. Like, it's unit of Marseille. It's the important part.
Yeah. Okay.
You're like, don't you want to be a 5-fleet, 2-army France? Because I want to be a 5-fleet, 2-army France.
I think it's only 4 fleets, sadly.
Right now, yeah, but if you want to get to 5 fleets, you have to go through 4 fleets.
That's very true. Alright, shall we go ahead to the spring?
Let's do it.
Alright, spring 1904. What I'm looking for here is Russia going south, because... Oh, there's the attack on Romania.
Yeah, and Russia is retreating south, so...
Yeah, I'm
But
curious
Moscow
as
didn't go
to
to Sev.
why
Oh my god, but
Moscow
what?
didn't.
Latvia just takes Ankara.
Oh.
Because you didn't
Okay.
move into Khan. Okay,
Oh,
that
hang on.
was...
I wonder if this was agreed with Turkey even. Like, they were saying, hey, I'm going to blow up Romania, you take it off the board and then rebuild it as an army. And I'll walk out of Romania in the fall. And Russia
Probably
just
into
went...
Budapest, right? I think that was the idea.
Yeah. I wonder if Russia just went, this situation looks like Turkey will be too strong if I do that. I would have moved Moscow south. I think not moving Moscow south is painful.
Yeah, but you see what he's doing in the north. I can understand he wanted to keep himself a little more flexibility, right? Because
Yes.
because now, hey, look, he's able to defend Warsaw because it's still in Moscow, so that's nice. But also the flexibility of going into St. Pete potentially to defend it against England because you're vacating it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough.
And I mean, Russia is making progress in the north. They managed to take Sweden here with the English support. And Germany, much as they would like to, they have to take a 50-50 guess on whether to take Sweden or Norway. And I think they'd probably go for Norway most of the time because they'd expect the Russian to protect the Russian dot in Sweden. Or the soon-to-be Russian dot in Sweden rather than the English one. Actually, maybe not, because if the English fleet gets knocked out of Norway, it retreats to St. Petersburg. Oh, this is a bit of an interesting guessing situation up here. But, yeah. Germany, I think it is kind of unwise to go for Warsaw in this situation, just because of how strong the Turk is getting.
Yeah, I really dislike this move into Prussia.
Yeah.
I mean, again, my game plan as Germany here was not anything more in the east. I feel like we've done our damage. We're fine. We were going to go kill England, kill France, and then let the rest of the board mess with Turkey.
Yes.
And, like, yes, whoever is going to survive is going to survive. Although, I mean, okay, counterpoint, right? This is a game where, like, all that matters is board top. And if we go through my line, I think it's likely that Turkey ends up topping.
I don't...
Because Turkey's already in Iberia, like...
Yeah, I suppose. I think this makes it more likely that Turkey tops, though, if you go for Russia right now.
Yeah, because Russia then can't defend against Turkey. Yeah, I completely agree.
So your line maybe has the downside of Turkey topping. I think this line has even more of a downside of Turkey topping.
Yeah, I mean, look, Turkey is the biggest and is Turkey, so it's there's a likelihood of Turkey topping the board. Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, so interestingly, Fleet Marseille gets out, right? This is where the it being a fleet could be advantageous, although it's because you gave up Spain for it, so it's maybe not.
Temporarily.
But it does have unfettered access to Tyrrhenian Sea. The only thing that can cover that province is Western Mediterranean right now, which would involve giving up Spain again. So that's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, right now, France gets to choose to whom they concede a center, because they can concede Brest to the British, right? Because English Channel figured they're going to attack Brest. But if they do so, they would get to retake Spain by cutting Western Med and then supporting Portugal, or supporting Mid-Atlantic into Spain.
So,
and then, or it's actually Italy and Spain, right? Not Turkey.
yes.
They do feel pretty similar right now.
But yeah, yes and no, in that England is going into Paris, not Brest, right? That's a freebie.
Of course, Paris is guaranteed still.
Yeah. So
didn't even occur to me.
I know, it took me a second to spot as well. But it's like...
So in that case, you're just taking Spain back. Not a problem.
Yeah. So I think Spain is, yes, going to be ousted here. You probably move Piedmont back to Marseille to defend, and Marseille can... and Gulf of Lyon can go for Tyrrhenian Sea and see if it makes it. I guess we will see. Is there anything else here you want to talk about?
I just want to reiterate how absurdly good this is for Germany.
For Germany?
For Germany. Because we look at this and we see that England is going to be putting, or France is going to be putting more fleets into the south, right? They're pulling Mid-Atlantic Ocean into Spain. Like, in the long run, this is just unbelievable. But it's not like France is getting really powerful because they're gaining Edinburgh, but they're losing Paris. They're just not losing Spain. So like France isn't even building. And as Germany, you just sit there saying, all right, great, I'm going to get centers at some point, right? I can probably walk into London. Maybe not, no, because English Channel can cover London still.
But, I mean, North Sea, and I think North Sea's Skagerrak, Denmark are going to do something about Scandinavia and try and get a centre back over there.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Yeah. Especially now that London's going to get covered, right? So that's irrelevant. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think that's just France being pulled so far to the south is good news for Germany if he's trying to top.
It definitely is. That's absolutely correct. I just wonder if this situation is better for Turkey. I think the one.
Oh, I mean, obviously better for Turkey. Yeah. Completely agree. Right, like Turkey's just absolutely crushing everyone in every step of the way. But it's just like, how well can you? Like, I think it's whatever. Turkey's like 80-90% aboard top at this point. And then it's like Germany's 8% and what France is 2%. Like,
yeah, that does seem to be fairly close to what I'd say. Maybe Russia has an outside chance if they deal with Turkey successfully, but it's like, to do that they need to get Germany off their back. So
sure, yeah. So it needs to be. The odds are probably a little different. It's like 90% Turkey tops, but then once you assume that Turkey's not topping, then like Russia's going to top a higher percentage of those than I thought. Fine, fair, okay, but ultimately doesn't matter because Turkey's going to top.
All right, shall we go into the fall?
Yeah, let's do it. And like this is why we see Turkey's going to top, because when Russia's in the Black Sea, they're not taking counter anchor. They're going back to Romania. Well, Turkey just walks into Sev. Like, okay,
why? I don't understand why they tapped Romania here. Were they trying to protect the Austrian in Budapest?
I think there was some it was probably just some agreement, right? Like, oh, you're going to go from Romania into Budapest. You were just going through Romania, and then we're fine or whatever, and that's it. We're friends. But oops, now you have to disband as Russia. And you cannot afford to disband here.
Yeah, this is. They don't actually have to disband because they picked up Sweden, I think. But it's...
No, they did pick up Sweden. Sure, but you needed the build. Even still, it's very similar.
You badly needed the build right here.
Yep. Well, this is depressing as hell, because now like there is one chance, right, that Turkey gets caught up in a war with Russia, but Turkey's +2, right?
Yeah.
So they got Venice.
Oh yeah. So okay. So I was thinking last turn, hey, Italy, they got their unit disbanded in Trieste, which is obviously a bit painful, but they're actually doing pretty well out of this because they might pick up Spain, and all of the Turkish units are no longer adjacent to their centers. So they're probably going to pick up Venice again, and then they'll be happy. And then Turkey
but then Austria supports Turkey into Venice. Like, yeah. What on earth?
I mean, Austria is just going, hey, screw you, Italy, which is a bit of a weird one, considering Austria attacked Italy first. I guess Italy's play is the reason why Turkey is as strong as they are right now. But I mean...
A little bit. I don't even agree with that. I think the reason why Turkey is so strong is because Austria let Turkey stab and get 2 centers.
Yes.
But like Turkey's not strong because of the fleet in mid-Atlantic Ocean. That's part of it, sure. But Turkey's strong because Turkey was on 6 centers in 02. Like,
yeah, this is true. And I mean, I don't see how you support the unit into Venice and not expect it to immediately go after you afterwards.
It's insane. It's absolutely absurd. Venice is your center as Austria. Like, what on earth?
And, the curious thing here is if Austria... So Austria had an amazing play in that they talked Turkey into not supporting the Italian into Venice and going for Venice themselves. And that means that Serbia was unsupported.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So they could have just taken Serbia with Budapest and been on 5.
Yeah, they would have. I mean, if they have true omniscience, they could have then vacated Vienna and then gotten both builds.
That would have been quite something, yeah.
Likely, instead, they would have just vacated Budapest and then been able to concede Venice to Turkey at some point, and suddenly concede Venice to Italy at some point, and then Italy gets to rebuild a fleet in defensive positions around their homeland. Suddenly, Turkey's fleets in the west are overextended, the armies are overextended. Sevastopol's going to fall, and maybe we see Turkey crumble like a house of cards because Turkey is expanding in an unusual pattern here. But instead, no, Turkey builds 2 and reinforces everything, and suddenly nothing matters.
Yeah. I think maybe it's a little unfair to assume Austria would do that, because they would have to know that their deception on Turkey had worked. But
I mean, like, supporting Turkey into your own center is insane, and then, like, just going for Serbia's a semi-reasonable tactical play here. You might even have gone from Trieste, because you assume that they're going to try to take Trieste. Maybe not. Maybe do for Budapest. I don't know exactly how the tactics. I haven't looked at it too much in the south. I just observed that Austria supported Turkey into their own center.
yeah. Well, okay, I do like the German support hold of Trieste here. They are showing that they're at least somewhat aware that Turkey's expansion is not good for them, but
They
they're
seem
still
to forget
going
that Russia's also needed to stop
Warsaw,
Turkey's
yeah.
expansion.
I think maybe they're wondering whether Russia is going to fight Turkey at all. But yeah, Russia is never going to fight Turkey while you're attacking Warsaw here. So back off of Warsaw, Germany. You're doing the wrong thing. You're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, like a mistake there. I think the rest of what they're doing is great, but yeah, I think a pretty clear mistake.
Yes.
With that strategic analysis.
And actually, Germany goes down one here because they misguessed in Scandinavia. They actually made the guess I would have made, because you would expect the Russian to support the Russian unit, but they guessed incorrectly and have gone down Sweden as a result. So,
yep.
Not great. And their opening into France has been somewhat closed by the fact there is now going to be an English army standing there for eternity. But, yeah, they're still in an okay position, I guess. Do you want to move to the winter?
Let's do it.
Okay. Prussia comes off the board, and Army Constantinople Fleet Ankara. Fleet Ankara is an interesting one. Turkey really going...
Goes to the Black Sea?
Yeah, Turkey really going, I do not want that fleet on the board, that Russian fleet in Romania. It must come off.
Yeah, and I mean, you've already taken Sev, so it's important. Like, the Black Sea helps it. It's also nice when you're trying to get units up to Warsaw more quickly, and you're building in the future. Black Sea is really nice to help convoy up to Sev.
Yes.
I think this is perfect.
Definitely true. We are doing power rankings again, and I think Turkey is very much in first still.
Turkey is like, and it's like even more in first, right? Like the win percentage last time of board topping was whatever, like 60, 70%, but now it's like, again, 80, 90. It's absurdly high.
Yes.
Right? I mean, Turkey's already like, what, 3 centers above second place, and shows no signs of slowing. Because Turkey.
Second place is probably still Germany, despite the fact that they've had to disband. I think
I agree.
Even with the disband here, maybe they made their chances a little bit better because they're not attacking Warsaw as strongly anymore. It's certainly not as good as it was prior, but yeah, they're still in second place. Who would you put in third?
France? Russia? France?
Yeah,
France.
France, I think, is a good choice.
France, because France!
Yep. So far, they've all stayed the same. It's just the gap that's been moved. I guess Russia comes after that, definitely, right?
Yep.
Would you put Austria above Italy now?
Yes.
I think I'd agree, despite the fact that Austria is in quite a tenuous position with so many units around them, but actually most of those units aren't armies, so it's maybe good for them.
Yeah, right. I mean, the Fleet Romania is still helpful, and like Army in Tyrolia has been propping him up, and I expect that to continue. So I think Austria is likely to survive, if not to the draw, for a long time. Whereas Italy is just going to survive at Turkey's behest and is probably going to die before the game gets drawn because there's no like set end date, right?
Yes.
So Turkey's just going to cut them out before it ends. And then yeah, maybe is England above Italy?
I think England is definitely above Italy because they're much more likely to survive with that army in Paris at the very least.
Yeah, the army in Paris is going to be annoying.
But I don't know. Yeah, they're probably not above Austria, right? Because Austria has the chance of topping still. And England is like, I'm going to survive, but I'm going to survive a bit better than Italy is going to survive.
Yeah, I really actually do like the no end time because it means that, yeah, Austria still can actually board top.
Yes. Of course, this is we get some really interesting games out of having no final end date, as you've seen, but we also get 40-hour series. So, that
was the interesting game we were thinking about.
For the sake of commentating, we prefer there to be a cap usually. Thankfully, I can confirm this one ends in like reasonable time. So
Yep.
I will here change our power rankings. We have Turkey all the way up there at the top, then Germany, France, Russia, Austria, England, and then Italy down in last place. Let's move ahead to spring 1905.
Let's see it.
Okay. I don't know where to focus first.
Yeah, lots of red on this board, which makes it difficult for my eyes to pay attention.
I think finally everyone has turned against Turkey. There is no one not fighting Turkey now. On the Turkish side of the board anyway. Even Germany in Tyrolia is moving against Venice. Although actually... Yeah, okay, so Italy tries to self-bounce in Apulia to protect everything, and Turkey supports Rome through to Apulia, which is really nice play on their part.
Yeah, opening it up for a potential retreat, so that if Venice was forced to retreat, could just retreat into Rome.
Yes. And is Turkey going to make any progress this turn? They're probably going to blow up the fleet in Romania.
Yeah, that's the place that I look at, because it would, like... Galicia and Budapest are the only ones that can support. Yeah, my guess is they're going to just actually commit to destroying the fleet in Romania and just take it from Sevastopol.
Yes, and then they lose a center... Well, no, they go even because they would gain Romania and lose Sevastopol, but they actually have a chance of losing Serbia.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I didn't realize they're not in the Black Sea at the moment. That was a bounce.
So they can still force Romania, but they have to tap Budapest and... Oh no, they can't even force Romania that way. So
exactly, because Galicia's still around.
Yeah, I think they can't guarantee... they can't commit to blowing up that fleet here because it's not guaranteed.
Nice.
Interesting. So, some solid defense from the other powers. Obviously, we would have preferred to see Moscow support Galicia to Ukraine here from Russia if they were going to get a better position, but I think tapping Sevastopol was fair. It's just like assuming that Serbia might be supported into Romania to blow it up.
Yeah, and this turn, I think, just looking at the number of armies used from the anti-Turkish alliance, it seems likely that this war will be difficult. It's not entirely clear which side comes out ahead.
Yeah, I think Turkey is not actually very well placed for this war, just because they don't have anything on Italy. Their support into Apulia is really nice in that it's disruption, and it stops Italy from getting anywhere and helping them move into Venice. But ultimately, they don't have the units to capitalize on that. And one of their units has just been forced into North Atlantic Ocean, where it's not going to do anything except keep England alive a bit longer. So, yeah. It's an interesting position. I think with this Grand Coalition could end up taking down Turkey. It's really hard to tell right now.
There's a very good chance, actually. This is... I 90% was way too high of an estimate.
Yeah, I mean, given what was happening at the time, the fact that Austria supported Albania to Venice, I think it was reasonable to estimate that high. But certainly with everyone aligning against Turkey, it drops quite significantly.
Yeah, they did a good job convincing Austria, hey, don't be stupid, we can actually, like, fight Turkey from here. Let's fight Turkey, please.
Okay. So, in the West, we end up having England abandon Scandinavia, despite having just gotten Russian support there, which is, I mean, I guess it's fair. But they're attempting to retake their homeland, which is nice play, actually. They get into North Sea. They do lose Norway, but now I think Germany is more inclined to just capitalize on Scandinavia. I'm actually really surprised that Germany retreated to English Channel and not to Skagerrak. I mean,
do they, like, Russia... Oh, no, they're in St. Pete. St. Pete can tap Norway. Yep, a little surprising. maybe Germany is really recognizes I cannot afford to take Sweden from Russia.
Yeah, that's actually that's definitely it, right? Because Germany is not doing anything against Russia outside of tapping the support that they're giving to England. So Germany is trying to navigate this quite delicately in that they're saying, "Hey, Russia, I want censors off of England. I'm going to attack you insofar as it helps me get censors off of England, but I'm not going to go any further." I think that's actually
Yeah, I'm not
really
tapping
smart.
Warsaw. I'm going to support you everywhere else. Yeah, that's great.
Right. And over on the French front, France is actually getting in position to knock England out of Paris, support Germany into Burgundy, maybe, which would be very nice for Germany. But yeah, France is coming back strong here, aside from the fact that their English holdings are in quite a bit of jeopardy right now. Anything else, or shall we move ahead?
Just an observation that France has a tough choice because I assume North Atlantic Ocean is tapping Liverpool and North Sea is tapping Eddie.
Yes.
And so France has to pick who gets the center. I think you give it to Turkey here.
Yeah, actually, surprisingly so, because you want to take out England. Like, they're your main opposition. As much as Turkey is going to top the board, that if Turkey
That's a problem for later.
Yeah, if Turkey doesn't get Liverpool, they're using that. They're going to take off North Atlantic Ocean if they get something disbanded, I assume, because it's the worst unit of theirs. If they do take Liverpool, it's just going to maintain the unit in Liverpool, which you can presumably knock out later and is not actually contributing to the Turkish board top. So I do agree that, yeah, France should cover Edinburgh here. Shall we see if they do?
Let's do it.
Alright, fall 1905. Turkey did not go for Liverpool. They went for Clyde. That just feels like a mistake to me.
I think that's the first move that I would look at from Turkey and say, yeah, I think that one was a mistake.
Yeah. Maybe they're getting into position to try and keep England alive as long as possible. Which maybe wouldn't be a mistake, actually. I guess.
And here, Turkey convinces Austria to stab Russia.
Oh my god. Okay. So Grand Coalition has fallen apart, especially since Germany also walks into Warsaw.
But didn't take Sweden.
What?
Whatever. I mean, this is whatever. Like, sometimes things are going to fall apart, and things fell apart. Like, Turkey didn't technically grow this turn, but everybody else got weaker, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, Turkey's chances go up again, I think. I really like how bold this Turkey is being, and it feels like such potentially bad play in doing things like not supporting Hold Serbia here and double supporting into Romania. They're just like, if my negotiation with Austria fails, I just do really badly this turn. And maybe they're thinking, I'm in a good enough position that I can afford to do really badly. I would not play it like this. I would go, I want to make sure I incrementally get stuff better, so I will throw a support hole on Serbia just in case. But hey, it's working out really well for them, mainly because the negotiations they're having so much faith in are working. They got Austria to go for it. And that's huge.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, and France just pieces England out and goes for Germany? Is that what's going on here?
I mean, he wanted the English Channel back.
Yeah.
And I think did not approve of Germany doing that little cheeky retreat there.
Yes. That's fair. Especially considering if Germany had retreated to Norwegian Sea, then France wouldn't be in this dilemma over do I cover Liverpool or Edinburgh, because both of them would have been able to be covered. Yeah, I think it's fair to get a little bit annoyed over that. So...
Yeah, but England's going to stick around for a little bit longer.
France is positioning to try and knock Turkey back again, and will probably disrupt their plans for invading Italy a little bit, but it does feel like Italy is going down.
I'm not sure how exactly, which is what's ticking me off. I just can't see the tactics where it works out. Like, assuming Austria, like, goes back to fighting Turkey. Assuming if Austria's on Turkey's side, then yeah, Italy's dead. But if we assume that, like, Venice can't cut Rome, then Rome and Naples just support each other, and those two units will never get broken by the two units from Turkey. Then
I think you're happier to give up Venice to the Austrian than you are to leave Turkey alive with those two units. Maybe I'm mistaken on that, but I would probably cut Rome and go for Naples. Although then you lose Tyrrhenian Sea, and yeah, that gets a bit dicey. Maybe not. Huh.
But incidentally, right? Naples can even be supporting Gulf of Leon into Tyrrhenian. Doesn't even like Rome is almost certainly not the threat.
Yeah.
Right? It's Naples that's getting hit. So Rome supports Naples, while Naples supports Leon to Tyrrhenian, and so they're losing Tyrrhenian anyways. Maybe you just go for Naples.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really difficult situation to get through. But I think Turkey is still a big winner this phase, primarily because Russia is probably now their vassal, given what just happened.
Oh, no. You can't vassalize Russia like this. They're still in Galicia. Like, Germany's going to go into Ukraine, and so, like, Moscow's not going to fall anytime soon.
Do you think that Russia is just happy with the unit in Warsaw and Austria taking Romania? I would be... okay, I probably wouldn't throw it, but I think a lot of people would just go, hey, Turkey, well played, these people are morons, let's just...
I think a lot of people would, but I certainly wouldn't as Russia.
Yeah, that's fair, especially in a completely year-unlimited game. I suppose it's... you don't...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in a timed game, you throw. I would throw this game. I would say, all right, you saying I cannot get the board top. Well, you can't either. But here, I mean, yeah, no, I can survive. Like, I'll get you into Ukraine. You'll get me into Sev. No, you won't, but we'll try. Like, whatever. Like, things can get weird in long games, and this is a long game, so maybe we'll see.
Okay, well,
I'll look at builds.
Yeah, let's have a look at the winter. Winter 05. Double German armies. I did not... oh yeah, Germany took Warsaw and Norway. Russia takes off Sweden. So Russia is certainly not throwing to Turkey. They are maybe just pitching themselves, hey, Germany, just leave me alive. I'm gonna go for Sevastopol. If you stab me again, then I'll stop attacking Turkey.
Yeah, I mean, getting to Ukraine, we're going for Sev. We have to do something against Turkey.
Yeah, and actually, Austria can still deal some damage to Turkey here if they do go straight off to Turkey. Serbia is relatively unprotected. It's just Fleet Adriatic and Fleet Black Sea are so painful to deal with as Austria here. They can constantly cut all of your supports unless you go in from there, in which case you lose your centers. But yeah, so England takes off London. That seems kind of reasonable. You don't want to ditch Paris when it's your the one that's relatively safe. I think this is all. Yeah, that's all to say.
Alright, let's see the spring.
Yes. Okay. Spring 1906. Austria is turning against Turkey again, and in huge force here, they actually support Germany into Venice as well.
Amazing.
And they do take Serbia, which is what they needed to do here. I am surprised that Russia didn't demand that Germany goes Warsaw to Ukraine. That seems... leaving Galicia open is just not efficient right now. But
yeah, and also I want Germany is on the front line so that I can take Warsaw.
Yeah. And Germany, I assume, gets invited into Burgundy? If it's not by invitation, then it's gonna annoy France a lot, but...
But I assume it's by invitation, because that way it's just the easiest extra army to deal with Paris and get England off the board.
Yes. And England gets knocked out of North Sea, manages to retreat into Edinburgh, and there's... okay, if Turkey helps England, England can survive an extra turn. And I think that might be in Turkey's interest because England could keep that army in France on the board and harass Germany a bit. Although,
yeah, it slows down. It slows them down to have an army on the board, right?
Yeah.
Turkey and England here are, I mean, they're related, but it doesn't, like, England can't do anything. It's just for Turkey.
Yeah. And what else is going on here? So, Tyrrhenian Sea gets knocked out by the Italian unit, getting supported out, which would actually perfectly have countered what I was intending to do here, which was run Tyrrhenian into Naples with support. But the Turk actually manages to do quite well out of it by going into Rome and Apulia. And Turkey manages to get a decent-ish position on the Balkan front, but Greece is still a weak point. And if there was still a unit in Galicia, it would be quite a weak point over the entire line. So, that is the result of this phase. Anything else to say?
Tactics, tactics, tactics.
Tactics, tactics, tactics. Shall we go ahead and see them? Well,
Yep.
The next ones. Okay, fall 1906 here. Wait, is Turkey still working with Austria? Is Austria still working with Turkey, even, is what I should be asking here.
Trieste tapping Venice looks kind of insane.
Yes, and because of that, Italy is now dead. Just completely.
So Turkey's +2.
Turkey is... are they +2? They lose Serbia. Oh, but they go plus Romania. Yeah, that seems... And Turkey supports France into Edinburgh? What? So they're speeding up the process over here.
That's crazy, because now, I mean, France goes +2, and they're going to build, like, Fleet Marseille. I don't know.
Are they...
Yeah, like, this seems... I don't like that at all. I don't think it matters that much. No, I think it matters a lot. France is plus... Yeah, France is +2, and now France is going to have nothing to do with them. Maybe they think France is going to fight Germany now.
That is a
I bet that was the
possibility. Yeah, and I guess with Germany and Burgundy, it is actually a real danger that France is not strong enough to fight off the German. Because ultimately...
Well, I think the point is, I think at this point, France has a huge edge over Germany if they go to war.
Because of the... Well, I mean, Germany did just get 2 builds, right? Sweden and Venice. So...
I missed the Sweden stab. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fair. Totally fair. No, I changed my opinion. I thought Germany was only getting 1 build, and so France gets 2 builds. They build an Army Paris, or excuse me, Army Brest, Army Marseille. Suddenly, they just have huge pressure on Germany because they just have more units on the front lines ready to go. Maybe not even, because Germany's got fleets in the north. No. You're totally right. This war would not have been good.
But, yeah, I think the... I think maybe it is a good play to counterbalance the German. Because Germany is your main opposition for the board top right now, right? I think as Turkey, you're thinking, okay, I am 100% in going to be like in the running for the board top, especially with what magic I'm performing with getting Austria to work with me.
Yes.
So really, all I need to do is make sure that the person in the west doesn't get as strong as I do. So keeping, like, you would think that the way to do that would be to slow everyone in the west down, but in an unlimited game, maybe you just want 2 equally strong powers over there.
Yeah, and then you have more centers than either one of them, and then they have to stay balanced while you get the rest of the board. We get a 9-9-17 draw.
Yeah.
Or 9-8-17 draw, something like that, whatever.
I was curious. I think that the German stab into Sweden is bad. You've got to... Maybe you're hoping that they take St. Petersburg off and keep working with you, but that feels... Yeah, well, I guess Russia can't use all 3 units against Sevastopol, right? So maybe it's okay, but
I would not have taken a unit off of Russia here.
yeah, it just feels like inviting them to go screw you and throw units at you. Taking Warsaw was already maybe a step too far. But yeah, anything else to talk about here?
I'm going to say this. There are surprisingly little tactics going on in the war between Turkey and Austria. It seems like it should be far more complicated with a lot more going on, but instead it's just like, okay.
They're just sitting there. And again, this is another turn of Turkey going, I'm not going to bother defending something that I think Austria won't attack in Greece. I'm just going to take Naples instead. And Naples wasn't even guaranteed. They could have, Germany could have tapped Rome, and Tyrrhenian Sea could have tapped Ionian. So Turkey playing it risky and it paying off massively again.
Yep.
Yeah. Shall we move ahead to the winter?
Let's do it.
Okay, and this is a power rankings then. We see army.
Yeah, Turkey only built one unit. Did we miss something?
Did they? They lost Serbia. They gained Romania. They gained Rome. They gained Naples. Did they lose anything? That feels like they're a unit down. Hang on, they have 10 centers apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, no, they're playing... Oh no, 10. There is a unit in Clyde. So they must have lost something somewhere. Oh, Venice was theirs. Okay, yeah. And that got traded away. So
that's what I missed, yeah.
Yes. Okay, and Russia disbands the one you would think. Like, they're like, okay, I'm giving up on attacking Turkey now. Germany's taking too many liberties with me in the north.
Yeah, but now Russia's actually so weak that maybe Russia can't even do anything to punish.
Yeah.
Although, given how Turkey's played here, I would offer, hey, Turkey, I'll let you into Ukraine from Sevastopol. I'll let you backfill Sevastopol. You support me into Warsaw, and I'll let you take Moscow.
Yeah, I mean, that could work. I'm surprised the army builders in Smyrna are not Angora, just because it could.
I think this was a misorder. Wait, no, it can't be a misorder. Again, I was thinking he missed the build, but he didn't miss the build. He didn't double build in Smyrna. It is weird. Yeah, I completely agree.
But hey, maybe he's deliberately trying to slow himself down a bit to like show to Austria you can still work with me.
Yeah, hey, look, Germany's at 10 centers too. He is a bigger threat than me.
I think it would be a mistake for Austria to work with Turkey at this point, but...
yeah, anyways, power rankings. Italy and England are gone.
Yes, they are. So, that is sooner than I thought England would be gone, but they are off the board, and Italy is also off the board. So I will get rid of them. And then we have... Russia is solidly in last now, right? Even more so than...
Austria.
Yeah, more so than Austria.
Yep. And then France is third, Germany second, Turkey's first.
Yes. And I will bring Turkey back within the realms of reasonable power rankings there, just so that you can see their name. Okay, so that is a pretty... Honestly, the power rankings have been fairly straightforward this entire game so far. And they haven't changed all that much, except for at the very bottom. So, let's go ahead to spring 1907.
Boom.
So, yeah, Turkey actually sneaks into Liverpool, but they're going to be kicked out of there pretty quickly. And Austria moving heavily against the Turk, and suddenly the Turk taking all these risky plays with Austria. Wait.
Finally gets punished.
But Austria also takes the supports into Venice. And Germany goes full scale against Austria. Is that correct? Maybe it's the right play if you can get France to go in with you, but
Sorry, you think Germany's going full in against Austria?
I mean, it looks like it, right? They went into Bohemia and... Oh, no, maybe they're just going into support hold. But,
Yeah, like, it's unclear to me, right? I think these are just the necessary moves, and we don't know if they're going after Austria or Turkey, because they just have to get as many units down there as possible.
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't go to Bohemia if you were doing anti-Turkey stuff. You would go to Tyrolia with Munich.
I mean, fair. But, I mean, now Tyrolia obviously was open for a retreat, so it worked out pretty nicely.
Yeah, but you don't expect the retreat if you're working with Austria. I don't know. I guess we'll see the Austrian reaction to this, and that will probably tell us whether it was expected or not.
I will say if I'm in Germany's position at this point, I'm going to have been very annoyed by Austria
because they constantly switch to Turkey's side. Right?
Yep.
Wait, the Germans supported Turkey into Moscow. Is that a good move? Yeah, because you need to kill Russia as quickly as possible now that you've annoyed Russia so much, right? Actually,
I mean, as we discussed, I was gonna kill, like, if I was Russia, at this point I was gonna work with Turkey to mess with Germany. So
yes, and I think actually this is not a holdable position for Turkey, especially given that Austria just went into Romania. Moscow.
Yeah, while Turkey was doing some convoy shenanigans.
Yes, which they should have just been able to convoy in from Ankara if they built an Ankara. That would have been the ideal here, but they didn't.
Yep.
So they had to leave Romania open, which
notably, even the support from Bulgaria wouldn't have done it in this particular place.
True.
They would have needed to use Black Sea to support Romania and Bulgaria to support Romania, while they just walked a long way into Sevastopol. But
yes,
somebody.
And actually Turkey managing to delay France even more, with France trying to shuffle down into Western Mediterranean and North Africa. Yeah. Well, anyway. So, I guess I'm going to ask about the Austrian play here. Do you think the Austrian play of taking Venice is correct?
I really struggle to see how Austria doesn't get eliminated at some point in this game. But I've been struggling to see it for forever. And so in that case, whatever gives you a chance to grow is really good. Really, really good. Because it's just so difficult.
Yes, that's fair. I have a feeling that Austria is going to get invaded by German armies this turn, but we will see. Shall we move ahead?
Let's do it.
Alright. Fall 1907, and Germany does go into Vienna, but they don't... Oh my god. France gets supported into Venice by Turkey now. Turkey has just been playing a really interesting game. They've supported pretty much everyone against everyone else, I think. Which is super interesting.
Austria abandoned the defense of Romania, so, like...
They did. I think that was, Germany was very clearly attacking them here. That was probably not agreed, the move into Bohemia, at the very least.
I guess.
So that's what this turnaround was because of.
Yeah, but no, Turkey's still...
Turkey actually...
Turkey's still building.
They actually built too, because they got their unit in Liverpool blown up as well.
And that's absurd, right? Like, how is Turkey, whenever anything bad happens in the spring, in the fall, it just, oops, never mattered.
It's just, this just feels like masterful negotiation all around from Turkey. This is one of those games where you go, I wish I could see the press, because Turkey's press must have been incredible this entire game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... absolutely beautiful phase for Turkey. Germany is still growing as well, it should be noted. Actually, they grab St. Petersburg and Vienna, and they lose Venice to France. So they're still going +1.
Yep.
And France is also going +1 because of that unit in Venice. So all of our major powers going +1 this phase.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when someone gets eliminated and Austria gets dotted.
Yeah. Anything more to talk about here, or do you want to move on?
No.
Alright, let's go ahead to winter 1907. And we see Army Marseille, Army Munich, and Army Con Fleet Smyr. And we're going to say goodbye to Russia here, because those powers colluded to eliminate them.
Yep.
I don't think there's a huge amount to talk about with these builds, so let's just go straight ahead to the spring.
Yeah, nothing weird.
Spring 1908. Yeah.
The sad triangle of Austria. All support holds.
And I mean, Austria is just going, I'll stick with Turkey at this point, I assume. Like, oftentimes at the end of a major game like this, it comes down to who do I like the most for the smaller powers. Even in Time Unlimited, there's a point where you go, I probably am not going to win this.
So at this point, I mean, at this point, survival remains the most important thing for Austria.
Yes, and they are going to survive. Well, they're going to trust Turkey with their survival, I think. Or actually, they're trusting everyone, right? They're just going, hey, you know, please, everyone.
If Germany lets Turkey kill me, then Turkey wins. If Turkey lets Germany kill me, then Germany wins. So they would need to kill me simultaneously. It's actually a difficult situation.
Yeah, it's actually, so this whole thing, actually, I was just looking at the French unit throwing in a support, because obviously France doesn't want anyone to kill Austria either, and Turkey kind of blundered their position here. I don't know if it was, maybe they're doing it for balance of power regions, but they lose Tunis to an unlucky guess. But they also go into Naples with the Ionian fleet, which feels odd. And they lose
I mean, like, if Ionia just goes to the Tyrrhenian Sea, right, then, like, you're not losing Tunis anytime soon.
Yeah. Are they trying to...
I'm pretty sure, based on when I've looked at this stalemate line of the past, that with this army in Venice, you need a lot in order to guarantee the whole line. Like, I think you need to get an army into Apulia to be holding Rome. So that way you can be using Naples to support Tyrrhenian. And Ionian. Wait, no, that doesn't even get you there.
I don't think this is holdable. Like, this doesn't look like a stalemate line to me in the slightest. Your way of holding this is just going to be convincing France or Germany to stab the other.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the play here. They're going, hey, you know, France, take Tunis, that's fine. I'm not letting you take anything more. I'm just going to stuff units into Italy until...
And you're going to be stuck at 10, whereas Germany's going to be at 11.
Yeah, exactly. I'll bet that's it.
Yeah, maybe. But suddenly we're relying on France to throw for Turkey to win. And that's really impressive from Germany.
Yeah. I guess Germany deserves a lot of credit here. I was not a fan of their attacks into Russia and their slow gains in the north. I felt like it was annoying people more, but they have managed to get into a very strong position as a result of it.
Yeah, they did enough where they got the other powers to slow down Turkey just enough while they got just enough growth in order to actually keep up with Turkey.
Yes. And they've managed to form this solid alliance with France right here. The France is not in a position to stab effectively right now. And Germany has rotated their fleets around so that they're in a decent position to stab France. I wouldn't say it's a winning position if they stab France, but it's it certainly gives them a better shot of taking France down. It might not give them the board top. Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about here, or shall we move ahead?
No, let's move on.
Okay, full 1908. Very little movement outside of those German, the big German conga line that you can see up here.
Yeah, also Austria supporting Rome into Venice.
That's actually huge.
Forcing a disband.
Yes. It's not actually a forced disband. France could retreat into Apulia, but they choose not to.
Yep.
They're going to just take it off the board and rebuild at home, which might indicate that this whole shuffle with Germany was not expected. France certainly isn't willing to commit to having a unit out in the middle of nowhere here, I think is the main thing.
Yeah, like, this is scary. Germany's now, I mean, guaranteed to walk into Eddie, if Germany so chooses. Like, this wasn't full-on aggressive against France, but it was pretty aggressive against France. And if Germany does it, if Germany does attack France with just a couple of fleets, it's unclear to me if France will have the defensive capabilities. Like, is Turkey going to be able to take anything off of Germany in the east if France just attacks in the west? Like,
it's a good question. I think Austria's moves here might be determining the outcome of the game. Just because Turkey is like leaving themselves completely open to Austria. They're going, hey, I'm a friend. But they are going to take Austria eventually if they get into this strong position around it.
yeah, and like they can get through Vienna first, right? Like right now, assuming Austria works with it, Vienna's a guarantee at the Trade of Venice. But that's a big deal because losing Vienna means that now Serbia is going to be a guaranteed dot for Turkey. While, I mean, maybe it's not even necessary because Turkey would just be at 12, whereas Germany's at 10.
Maybe.
No, Turkey would still be at 11 because they're losing Tunis.
They are losing Tunis. That's a good point.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Austria does appear to be deciding the game.
It does feel like it, because if Austria had just been turtling up here, it does feel like Germany's position would be a hell of a lot stronger. So, shall we go ahead to the winter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and France's build is Army Paris. Should be noted the Turkish position in the south will crumble if Germany and France work together against it, I think. There is no stalemate line here. No, maybe there is. Maybe there is. I think it would be a slow progress, but it would be. The Lyon, West, Naf, Thun, these can push quite fast. Is it fast? No, they would push quite slow. Okay, anyway, we see Army Paris, and that is the only build here. Let's... are we doing power rankings?
I mean, okay, for the stalemate line, so it's gonna come. So you need to have Naples support Ionian always. You need to have Apulia support Rome always. But then if Tuscany, Lyon, Tyrrhenian are owned by France, then Rome needs an extra support, and that's where things get broken.
Yes.
Because then once you lose Rome, then Apulia could support Naples, while Albania supports Ionian. But then there's a million on Venice, and then Venice falls. But then if Adriatic can support Trieste, I feel like we've lost enough centers at this point.
Yeah. So the main question is just, are Germany and France willing to work together to that extent?
And like, how quickly does it happen, right? Because if Turkey gets a couple of turns and can get a couple more units, then yes, there's a stalemate line there in Italy.
Yeah. Maybe.
But
I'd still debate.
Well, it's going to be the backwards one.
I feel like having to beat Vienna actually might break this. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I'd need to look at this line more closely. I know there is a line in the south where you've lost Vienna, but I don't know if it's this one. I feel like you might need to own more than just the Italian dots.
Yeah, you might need Tunis as well.
Yeah. Well, viewers, you can examine that. That is an exercise to the reader. Shall we... Oh, we have to do the power rankings, I assume? Well...
It's the same.
Yeah, it kind of feels the same. I might have put Germany above Turkey if Austria hadn't just done what they did. So, I think it is still Turkey in first, Germany second, France in third, and Austria fourth. Let's move ahead to spring 1909. Okay, so there is a fight going on in the north. With minimal units, it should be said. This feels really ineffective. I feel like
I think France and Germany both recognize if they commit more fully, then Turkey just guarantees wins.
Yes.
But they're like, hey, maybe you make a mistake, and maybe with my couple of extra units in the north, Germany can dot France.
Yeah,
maybe.
I just feel like the German attack is rubbish. Like, you should just hold North Sea here, and then you can walk into Edinburgh in the fall. Or you just walk into Edinburgh and say, hey, France, I could do this no matter what, so I'm just going to do it.
But this getting into the English Channel, right? You still get into Eddie, but now you're also in the English Channel.
Yeah, but now you give them reason to pull back. I suppose they would kind of have reason to pull back anyway. I don't know. I don't like this attack. I think it's too weak.
It's too weak for a board top, but that's why Germany's second.
Yeah. Right. So, what else is going on? Austria is pushing forward, and Germany actually gets pushed out of Vienna due to the French not pushing the line on Italy. Actually, the Germans would have lost Vienna anyway, but if the French were pushing the line, I think they would have a chance of getting it back. Or France would have gotten something. They could have convoyed to Tuscany. Did they actually order a convoy to Tuscany and then change their mind? Yes, they did. This Leon is convoying Marseille to Tuscany. And then clearly they decided, hang on, I don't think I like this plan.
Yep. Seems fine.
Yeah. So, anything else to discuss there, or shall we just move on?
No, nothing real. Like, Austria got Vienna, instead of Turkey, so Turkey's going to have to take Serbia or something, but seems not a problem.
Yes. Okay, so fall 1909, and Turkey does just back off and go all out for Austria. Ouch. Poor Austria. Like, they get back on their feet for a second, and then they're gone again, but that's just the reality of being stuck behind some massive powers, right?
Yep.
And we do see Germany...
Yeah, but in doing so...
Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry, just in Turkey playing like this, they've conceded Moscow back to Germany.
I mean, they were likely losing Moscow anyway because they lost Galicia.
Yeah, but now they don't even get Galicia back.
That's true. That is true. They're losing ground because they're willing to stab their ally here. And that might be a mistake. It's like...
Yeah, that might end up giving it to Germany, but they need, suddenly now France needs to pull back, I guess? Because Germany was going to make more progress in the north, so there's no longer any pressure on Turkey in Italy.
Yeah. So the interesting thing here is just, in terms of the final position, Turkey has just extended their line to include Trieste and Serbia, but they lost Moscow, and Moscow is not something that's recoverable in a stalemate line on this front. What they're relying upon is that Germany can't take enough of France to outperform them. I think Budapest and Vienna can fall to the south from this position, although it's kind of tough. But what France can do is just go for Marseille and Spain, while Germany is going for the centres in the north and try and lock up their victory on that front. It still seems a bit tenuous. But because Germany is fighting the larger power, I suspect Turkey might have the upper hand. It's tough. It's really tough to say.
Yeah, I mean, these sort of three-way dukes it out at the end are always complicated.
Yes. Shall we move ahead to the winter?
Let's do it.
Alright, winter 1909. France takes off Piedmont, so they are going, hey, Turkey, do your thing. Although they're not fully going Turkey, do your thing, because they could have taken off Tunis. So actually that just feels like the one that gives them the best shot at keeping both fronts. Might be a bit of a lost cause at the moment, but Turkey and Germany going for the obvious builds, I think.
Yep. Turkey needs more armies, and Germany needs more armies.
Yeah. Okay, so
All right, let's
spring
go.
1910. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So Germany manages to take Ukraine. I don't know that that's a good focus. Ukraine doesn't feel very important in the long run because Sevastopol is so easily defended.
Yep.
They gave up Budapest for it. Maybe they were thinking that Budapest would go anyway. Which would be a reasonable assumption to make in this position, actually. What they've done here is potentially locked in Vienna into their line. I don't know. Again, this is the kind of thing you need proper endgame analysis for. And, like, you can
I mean, it just takes a long time to go through every single tactical plan.
So this
wasn't a live game, right?
No, this is a proper extended deadline game, so they would have had the time to go through the stalemate positions and think about, does this protect Vienna, and include it in my line. But Germany is losing on the northern fronts. They managed to take Burgundy, but they lose English Channel in the meantime. And the... actually, they haven't lost a huge amount of position because they managed to bounce the French unit out of Norwegian Sea. But it does not feel like a winning position over there for them.
It does feel like France is eventually going to get there. It's difficult for me to say that with certainty because, to my eyes, it looks like 3 fleets for Germany against 3 fleets for France, and then 2 armies for Germany against 2 armies on the mainland of France, and then the wild card is there is an extra army for France on the British mainland. So, like, theoretically, in the long run, assuming reasonable play from both sides, France should eventually get the upper hand, but who knows what happens in between here and there.
Yeah, and actually the German pushing through Burgundy is pretty big, because that position can make up for, a downside on units.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really tough call. And actually that tough call probably means that Turkey has a much better shot, because if it's going to be a back and forth war, Turkey is going to be the player to gain, right?
Yep. And, like, again, there's only 2 fleets in the south for France. That cannot hold against Turkey's 3, or 4 fleets in the south, excuse me. Like, yeah, I mean, I think that Turkey's all set up to eventually pull this out.
Okay, let's go ahead to fall 1910. So here we have Germany actually killing off the last Austrian unit. What? I guess they felt like they needed the build, but it does take the unit away from the Turkish front, which I feel like was maybe a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Austrian army was too much of a wild card. Like, I couldn't rely on that army to be a unit against Turkey.
Yes, that's fair. It doesn't even support the move into Galicia, it should be noted here. So, yeah.
That's a bounce. Not that there's anything in Budapest, but, yep.
Okay, the move of the phase, though, is North Atlantic Ocean support Edinburgh to Norwegian Sea.
Absolutely.
Which is just beautiful. Again, the attempted self-bounce there to protect North Sea, Edinburgh, and Norwegian, and France reads it perfectly.
As a result, France builds an army in Paris, and suddenly Germany's cooked. Yeah. That's it.
France also and Turkey have agreed to some kind of position in the south where Turkey doesn't take Tunis and France backs off with Western Mediterranean, which I assume on Turkey's part will be very temporary. I would want to take Tunis pretty soon and just lock in the victory. But, yeah. I feel I can't see a way this doesn't go Turkey's way long term. Like, it just...
Yeah, eventually it's going to happen. Like, I mean, the only way that it couldn't is if Turkey completely misreads the war and then, like, waits too long for France to... And then France, like, actually gets a significant edge. And then France gets 3 dots and then is on whatever, 12. And then Germany's like, all right, France, fine, here you go. But, like, I think Turkey's just going to hit France before that happens. So I think this is
Yeah.
seems like it's it.
Okay, let's go ahead to the winter here.
Sure.
Yes, we have seen Austria go, so I will remove them from the power rankings. It was a long survival for Austria, a lot longer than I thought it would be. A lot of back and forth there as well. I think Turkey is clearly solidly in first. Would you now put France higher than Germany for second?
For second, I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever. Who cares? It's second.
Okay, who has the second highest chance of topping the board? Do you think anyone has any chance of topping the board outside of Turkey?
I think France does have the second highest chance, but it's 0.
Yeah, I would probably agree on that front. It's really, really tough for anyone else to make it here just because of the fact that they would have to fight each other. There's no way you can break this Turkish lead now. I think this is a stalemate. I don't know, but my instinct tells me this is a stalemate. Actually, you're missing a support hold on Romania right now, but once Constantinople moves to Bulgaria, it's a stalemate. So Turkey is not going any lower than 13. Sorry, shall we move on?
You haven't convinced me it's a real stalemate, but for this game it's fine.
Okay, so the main thing of the stalemate is Black Sea supports Sevastopol. That holds against Moscow and Ukraine, right?
Yeah, Bulgaria supports Rome, so supports Budapest. That's all fine. It's Venice, right? Venice is the question, because if Vienna cuts Trieste, then
you don't have the units. Yeah. You need Tunis, I think. Is that correct? If you can advance to the Piedmont-Lyon-West NAF line, you definitely have enough units to hold.
Absolutely, completely agree.
But yeah, I think you might be right here. It's
but again, for this game, it doesn't matter because France is in no position to push that line and actually put it to the test, and Germany's not there either. Like they have to first get it like this. That's not going to happen. So for this game, it's fine. Turkey's not going below 13. Completely agree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move ahead to spring 1911 then.
Yep.
And here we're just seeing a whole lot of everyone trying to hold the stalemate on the side. Actually, Germany is going to lose Vienna, I think.
Germany did lose Vienna.
Yeah, this is spring 1911 still, but they...
sorry.
No worries. But I mean, Germany gets forced out of Burgundy and retreats to Ruhr, which means they're going full on the defensive here, and France is getting significantly advantaged. If we then move ahead to fall 1911, which is where Ezio is.
Sorry, I kind of just started. Yeah, my bad. Apologies.
Yep. No, that's fine. I think that's a space on the bingo card, right?
That is a space on the bingo card. Ezio goes to turn ahead.
Right, so Vienna has now been lost, and Belgium gets lost to the French, and at this point I think Germany has to choose who they're going to defend against, and it's probably just going to be I need to defend against France. Shall we keep jumping ahead, or is there anything you want to talk about?
That's fine. I mean, nothing. Yeah, it's just the war endgame. Who chooses to win? France and Germany can still throw to each other. But if they just continue playing a normal game, then Turkey wins.
Yeah, and this is actually an important point because it explains why you're seeing this Naples-Ionian bounce in Tyrrhenian Sea down here. Turkey still does not want to annoy France, even though their victory is pretty guaranteed at this point, and they could just take Tunis. Just like, let's avoid that little possibility that France throws to the German.
Yeah, it would be like France would just hold the stalemate line in Iberia, for those who are curious, right? English Channel moves to mid-Atlantic Ocean in Portugal. They bring Norwegian down to mid-Atlantic Ocean. They say, you're never going to take another one of these centers. Germany will take everything in the north, and you can't take anything through the Moscow, Warsaw, Bohemia, Munich stalemate line. At the end of the day, Turkey's stuck at whatever, 15, Germany's at 17, game over.
Yes, exactly. So Turkey avoiding that. Let's go ahead to winter 1911. Turkey builds 2. Germany takes off Galicia. They had to choose something to go, and Obviously, it's on the Turkish line here. If we go ahead to spring 1912, Turkey fully mobilizing, and actually mobilizing against France now too. They're going, I have a good chance of this win. Just
Yeah, at this point, the position, right? If with these moves from France, even if France tries to block the stalemate line, it becomes much more difficult. So,
yes,
nicely timed.
Exactly. And actually, I think Turkey has a pretty decent chance of breaking through the Warsaw-Moscow line as well from this position.
Maybe if France continues pressing Germany from the west, then absolutely.
Even here, they can take Cilicia. Can they? Okay, no. They can cut Cilicia. Okay, they can cut Munich and take Cilicia. There's a guess between Cilicia and Ukraine for Germany. And if they lose that guess, they lose Warsaw on the next turn. So
yeah, but I'm not convinced that even then, like, Germany gets broken through in the west. Like, I mean, losing another dot is important, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to full 1912 here. So we have France turning around and fighting back against the Turk, but they're also still... No, they're not fighting against the German anymore, but at this point I think it's too late. Turkey...
Yeah, they're also not, like, pulling back all of their units from the German front, which is what it would require for not Turkey to win.
Yes, they're not throwing is the important thing here. They're just going, you know, I'll defend myself, and that's it. And so if we look here, Turkey takes Tunis, they do get into Cilicia as well, and we move ahead to winter 1912, there's a disband and a build, and then I think spring 1913, yeah, is where they call the game. So Germany and France end up conceding to Turkey here. So yeah, massive congratulations to Grayson. I think that was an incredibly well played game. It was very well played by the other two survivors as well, I think. France did try and make their comeback at the point they had the chance to, but it had just gone a bit too far, and Germany was very, very close to managing to get that board top too. They just had to get Austria to do their bidding a little bit more, right? But just absolutely masterful play from Grayson and Turkey. Beautiful. Is there?
Yeah, I mean, stab Austria effectively in 0-2 and win the game.
Yeah, and actually it was not just stab Austria, it was stab Austria and then constantly get them back on your side over and over again. And honestly, they did that with a fair few powers as well, just constantly supporting other people against each other. That's the kind of game you want to see in high-level diplomacy. It's fantastic to watch. But yeah, so any closing thoughts from you on this game?
I think that Germany played a phenomenal game in defense of the strong Turkey. Like, it's a really difficult line to draw between growing yourself whilst enabling other powers to slow down a Turkey that is so big so quickly. And then Turkey just was slightly better at causing chaos in the defense that Germany was setting up. So perhaps Germany made slight mistakes, but I think Germany deserves a lot of credit for a really strong game.
Absolutely. It was a well-played game by them as well. It's just Turkey managing to take that edge at the very end. Well, honestly, all the way through, Turkey was taking an edge, but Germany was making excellent progress throughout as well. Right, so yes, that is the end of the Hidden Attack Season 5 final. Hopefully we'll be bringing you more tournament commentaries in the near future. Thank you very much for watching, and a quick reminder, if you are interested in Blitz Diplomacy, feel free to join the Blitz Diplomacy Discord linked in the description. Thanks for watching.